Nike struck absolute gold when they signed Caitlin Clark to an 8-year, $28 million endorsement deal. So why in the world are they ignoring her?
You won't believe what Caitlin Clark just said at that Nike event. She straight up called them out for not doing enough. Can you imagine the guts it takes to tell the biggest sports brand in the world they're slacking? That's Caitlin for you. Not just breaking records on the court, but shaking things up off it too. But here's the real kicker. Nike's been dragging their feet on her signature shoe. Fans are going crazy, demanding to know where it is.
At the start of this year's WNBA season, it was announced that Caitlin Clark signed a massive endorsement deal with Nike. This deal was for 8 years, $28 million with a signature sneaker included.
Meanwhile, Caitlin's out there packing arenas, smashing TV ratings, and basically changing the whole game. You know what's crazier? Other brands are jumping on the Caitlin train while Nike's still at the station. What's going on? Picture this. Caitlin Clark steps onto the court and the whole arena erupts. Fans are on their feet, screaming her name. It's like a rock concert, but instead of a guitar, she's got a basketball. What's the big deal? Well, let me tell you, Clark's been absolutely crushing it on the court. We're talking record-breaking points that'll make your jaw drop. She's not just scoring, she's dishing out assists that'll make your head spin and grabbing rebounds like it's nobody's business. It's like she's playing chess while everyone else is playing checkers.
Nike is obviously the biggest brand in athletic apparel, and Caitlin seemed to be a perfect fit for the brand. $28 million at the time, while some people, including myself, were saying that this might be a little bit too low.
But here's where it gets wild. Clark's not just playing well, she's changing how people see women's basketball. Before, it was the underdog struggling to get attention. Now, it's the main event. People who never gave women's basketball a second glance are suddenly glued to their screens, watching Clark work her magic. You know what fans are doing now? They're showing up in droves. Arenas that used to be half empty are now packed to the brim. It's standing room only when Clark's playing. People are scalping tickets like it's the NBA finals or something. It's insane. And it's not just in-person attendance. TV ratings for women's basketball, they're through the roof. Networks are scrambling to get more games on air because viewers can't get enough. It's like Clark's got some kind of Midas touch. Everything she touches turns to gold. Here's the kicker. All this excitement is happening, and Nike's been sitting on their hands. Can you believe it? The biggest name in sports gear, and they're acting like they don't see what's happening right in front of them. It's like they're asleep at the wheel while Clark's driving the whole sport forward. So how much has women's basketball viewership increased because of Caitlin Clark?
Since she has signed this contract, you guys, and her WNBA season has come and gone. And with that, Nike has not done one thing to promote her.
We're talking double, triple, sometimes even quadruple the usual numbers. Games that used to draw a few thousand viewers are now pulling in millions. It's not just a spike, it's a whole new level of popularity. Just when women's basketball hits its stride, something doesn't add up. Clark's bringing millions of new viewers to the game, but her own sponsor, Nike, is nowhere to be seen. What's the deal with this radio silence, and why are fans getting so frustrated? Think about it. Nike signs Caitlin Clark, the hottest name in basketball right now. It's huge news, right? You'd expect them to be shouting it from the rooftops, plastering her face on billboards and flooding stores with her merch. But guess what? It's like they hit the mute button after the initial announcement. Meanwhile, Clark's out there breaking records like they're going out of style. She's lighting up scoreboards, dishing out assists like a magician, and pulling down rebounds like gravity doesn't apply to her. And Nike, they're quiet as a church mouse. It's like they're watching a different sport or something. You know what's crazy? While Nike's sleeping on their golden goose, other brands are wide awake. Adidas is out there showing Clark more love than her own sponsor. They're featuring her in ads, talking her up on social media, and basically treating her like the superstar she is. It's like watching your crush dance with someone else at prom. And the fans, oh boy, they're not happy. They're blowing up social media, asking the same questions over and over. Where's the Caitlin Clark merch? Where's her signature shoe? It's like they're shouting into the void, and Nike's got their fingers in their ears. After all this pressure, Nike finally wakes up and drops, wait for it, a t-shirt. A single, solitary t-shirt. That's it. Talk about underwhelming. It's like bringing a water pistol to a 5-alarm fire. Fans were hoping for a feast and got served a cracker instead. Here's the real kicker. Other players are getting their own signature shoes left and right, but the hottest name in basketball, the one who's bringing in record-breaking viewership, she's still waiting. It's like Nike's got their priorities in a blender or something. While Nike's been sleeping on their golden opportunity, Caitlin Clark's been cooking up a plan. At a recent Nike event, she didn't just show up, She showed out. What unexpected move did Clark make that left Nike executives squirming in their seat? Picture this. Caitlin Clark standing center stage at a big Nike event. The room's packed, everyone's eyes on her. You can feel the tension in the air. What's she gonna say? Is she here to play nice, or is she about to shake things up? Clark starts off smooth, talking about how women's basketball has blown up. She's not bragging, just laying out the fact. The game's never been hotter, and she's a big reason why. But then, out of nowhere, she drops a bombshell. She looks those Nike bigwigs right in the eye, and basically tells them they're not doing enough. Can you imagine the guts that takes? She's not holding back either. Clark's talking about how fans are desperate for jerseys, merch, shoes, you name it. And she's not just hinting. She's spelling it out for Nike, loud and clear. It's like she's saying, hey, wake up! There's a gold mine right here and you're not even digging. The room goes dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Those Nike execs, they're squirming in their seats, probably wishing they could disappear. But Clark's not done. She's just getting started. She lays out this vision for the future of women's basketball, and it's clear as day. Nike needs to step up their game, big time. She's talking about more visibility, more support, more everything. And the way she's saying it, it's like she's daring Nike to prove her wrong. So, what exactly did Caitlin Clark say that's got everyone talking? She straight up called out the elephant in the room. She said, the amount of people that have showed up in the stadiums, from the viewership numbers to people really wanting to wear a WNBA player's jersey or buy their merch or whatever it is, or have their shoe, shows everyone there is real opportunity here. But she didn't stop there. Clark hammered home the importance of expanding women's basketball's visibility. She said, the more we can continue to expand that and continue to have games on national television and get people in seats, they fall in love with a team or a player. It's like she's giving Nike a roadmap to success and challenging them to follow it. Clark's challenge to Nike goes beyond TV time and packed stadiums. There's a bigger play here, and it's right at their feet. But Nike seems to be dragging theirs. What's the missing piece that could change the game for women's basketball merch? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Caitlin Clark's missing signature shoe. Fans have been begging for it, practically screaming at their screens. Social media is blowing up with mock-ups and designs. People are getting creative, imagining what Clark's shoe could look like. But from Nike, crickets. It's like they've got their heads buried in the sand while the rest of the world's having a Clark party. You know what's wild? A Caitlin Clark shoe could be an absolute gold mine. We're not just talking good sales here. We're talking potential record-breaking, history-making numbers. Think about it. Clark's popularity is through the roof. She's not just a basketball player, she's a phenomenon. People want a piece of that magic and a signature shoe. That's like bottling lightning. Other brands are probably kicking themselves right now. They're watching Clark dominate the court, bring in massive crowds, and change the game, all while wearing Nike. But Nike, they're sitting on a gold mine and not even bothering to dig. It's like they've got a winning lottery ticket and they're using it as a bookmark. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Some fans are so frustrated with the lack of Clark merch, they're taking matters into their own hands. They're making bootleg Clark gear. Can you believe it? People are so desperate to show their support. They're literally creating their own merchandise. That's not just fandom, that's a movement. Industry experts are scratching their heads over this one. They're looking at the numbers, seeing the demand, and they can't figure out why Nike's dragging their feet. It's like watching a slam dunk in slow motion, except Nike's still deciding whether to jump. So what's the deal with Caitlin Clark's signature shoe? Why is Nike dragging their feet on Clark merch? It's not like making a signature shoe is a quick process. It usually takes months, sometimes over a year. There's designing, testing, marketing, the whole 9 yards. But with the buzz around Clark, you'd think Nike would be fast-tracking this thing like their life depended on it. All right, let's wrap this up. Caitlin Clark isn't just dominating on the court. She's changing the whole game off it too. She's got the business world on its toes, wondering what she'll do next. And Nike, they're in the hot seat now. Will they step up and match Clark's energy or keep dragging their feet? One thing's crystal clear. Caitlin Clark is the future of basketball. Whether Nike's ready or not, she's bringing in the crowds, smashing records, and demanding more for women's sports. And guess what? She's just getting started. The way things are going, we might be looking at the biggest shakeup in basketball since, well, ever. Buckle up, folks. The Caitlin Clark Show is just beginning.